Comrades and friends, welcome back, or if you're here for the first time, away. Today I want to share about my journey with Adobe Premiere Pro and why, despite extreme temptation, I just can't leave it and switch to Davinci. First and foremost, there's the matter of muscle memory. Over the years, I've invested countless hours mastering Premiere Pro. I've fine-tuned my skills, memorized keyboard shortcuts, and even crafted custom presets to boost my efficiency. This muscle memory has allowed me to work swiftly and effectively, making the editing process feel like second nature. Like your hands just, before your mind even thinks, your hand just knows what to do next. Shifting to a new software would mean starting from scratch and retraining my memory. You could argue that I can use my Premiere Pro knowledge and just apply it because video editing is the same. If I have to shift to a new software where now it takes me like 2 times longer or 3 times longer because I don't know where this tool is. I know the tool exists, but where? I feel like that will inevitably slow down my workflow. I love Davinci and I'm gonna, talk about what I use in Davinci, but it's just a difficult process to then completely shift. Secondly, we have the beast of an ecosystem that Adobe is. My creative journey began as a graphic designer, for those that know me. I used a lot of Adobe applications like Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. As I transitioned into video editing with Premiere Pro and motion graphics with After Effects, my prior knowledge of Adobe software was like a major asset. Often I find myself working seamlessly across multiple applications. For instance, when I'm animating in After Effects, I rely on Illustrator for storyboards. And this is where another advantage comes in. I have plugins that I have paid for, and some of them I had to search for them for years, not knowing what I'm looking for, but eventually finding it. Those kind of help my process. So when I do storyboards in After Effects, I have a plugin that I bought called Overload, which I use to transfer those assets to After Effects, literally by just clicking a button and voila. If you didn't know about that plugin, the pleasure is mine. I accept your thank you. Then for final assembly, Premiere Pro can come into play, and with the use of dynamic links, that process is also swiftly streamlined. Replacing Premiere Pro with Davinci in this already well interconnected Adobe ecosystem could potentially disrupt my efficiency and productivity. However, I've found a sweet spot by incorporating Davinci exclusively for color grading though. I mean, I have absolute respect. Color grading in Davinci is like, I think the day that I really caught on to how good it is, like I haven't looked back. I've even started to color grade previous projects that I used to grade in Premiere Pro because I'm just like, why? Lumetri color in Premiere Pro is great, but why? It's just when it comes to everything else, I still pretty much use Premiere Pro, and that's why I'm like, I can't completely leave it. Lastly, collaboration is key to many of my projects. Working with teams, I've come to realize that Premiere Pro is kind of a common denominator among many professionals, whether they are amateurs or veterans. When co-editing with others, using the software that's most familiar to the team streamlines the collaborative process. Committing to edit exclusively in Davinci Resolve might create unnecessary hurdles for team members who might not be acquainted with it, ultimately impacting the project's success. I don't know, maybe it's the part of the world that I live in, but Premiere Pro is pretty much it's the common software that people use. While I've embraced Davinci for color grading, Adobe Premiere Pro remains an indispensable part of my creative toolkit. It kind of reminds me of the Apple ecosystem. If you've gone in deep and you use everything Apple, if Samsung releases, let's say, a superior phone and you like it, buying it might not actually be the best fit because you can't easily integrate it to your Apple Watch, your MacBook, your Apple TV, iPad. It just won't work. Like, it can't. If I had the money, my whole house would just be Apple. I live in kind of both worlds where I have Apple on this side and then I have Android and Windows on this side. I have a custom built PC, which I built by myself. Thank you. That's where I do most of my video editing, right? But I also have a MacBook and I use an iPhone. So whenever I edit something, the process of sending it from my PC to my phone is always ridiculous. I have to use my external SSD and then eject it and then put it in my MacBook and then airdrop it to my phone. Like, that process sounds so simple, but if you're like a filmmaker like me, I'm always rendering and exporting things on a daily basis. It becomes so painful, for lack of a better word. That's what I like about an ecosystem. It's not just about muscle memory, like we spoke about, or personal preference. It's also about seamless integration into an ecosystem that is effective. I would love to hear from you. What software do you use for your projects? And if you are a former Premiere Pro user, how did you make the transition work for you, assuming you switched to Davinci? Please share your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget to subscribe if you love this content or if you don't want to miss out on more of my videos. Apart from that, my name is Z and peace.